In today's video, we're diving into the powerful framework that has shaped American government for more than 2 centuries, the United States Constitution. We'll look at the core principles built into its structure, including federalism, separation of powers, and checks and balances. We'll also explore the Bill of Rights, those first 10 amendments that safeguard our individual liberties. Let's get started. When the framers gathered in Philadelphia in 1787 to create a new system of government, they weren't interested in returning to a monarchy or simply tweaking the Articles of Confederation. They sought to create a system that would balance power between different levels of government and prevent any one branch or group from becoming too powerful. The result was a constitution built around three core principles: federalism, separation of powers, and checks and balances. At the heart of the new system was federalism, a division of power between the federal government and the state governments. Under this principle, the federal government would be responsible for matters that affected the nation as a whole. This includes issues like national defense, foreign affairs, and matters that crossed state boundaries. Meanwhile, state governments would retain control over issues that affected only their local areas, such as education, local elections, and various day to day policies that didn't require national coordination. This balance ensured that both levels of government had clearly defined roles, a system that continues to shape how laws and policies are created and enforced across the country today. To prevent any single branch from becoming too powerful, the Constitution introduced the principle of separation of powers, dividing the work of government among three distinct branches. The legislative branch, also known as Congress, holds the power to make laws, pass laws, and allocate government spending. The executive branch, led by the president, is responsible for recommending policies, carrying out federal laws, and overseeing the operation of federal programs. The judicial branch is made up of the Supreme Court and all the lower federal courts. This branch interprets the Constitution and decides whether laws and actions are constitutional. Each branch has its own distinct responsibilities, ensuring that power is distributed and not concentrated in one part of government. But dividing power wasn't enough. The framers also included a system of checks and balances, giving each branch of government the tools to limit the powers of the other branches. For example, Congress can pass laws, but the president can veto them. Even if the president signs a law, the Supreme Court can later declare it unconstitutional. This constant oversight between branches was designed to create a government that could function effectively, but without risking tyranny and the abuse of power. Even with these careful structures in place, many Americans in the late 1780s still feared that the new federal government might become too powerful and infringe on individual freedoms. To ease those fears, the first Congress moved swiftly in 1789 to approve a series of amendments to the Constitution that would guarantee certain rights to the people. These 10 amendments were ratified by the states in 1791 and are known today as the Bill of Rights. Let's briefly walk through each one. The First Amendment protects the freedoms of religion, speech, press, the right to petition the government, and the right to assemble. The Second Amendment grants the right to keep and bear arms. The Third Amendment prohibits the forced quartering of soldiers in private homes during peacetime. The Fourth Amendment protects citizens against unreasonable searches and seizures. The Fifth Amendment provides the right to due process of law, protects against double jeopardy, and includes the right not to self incriminate, as in the famous phrase, "I plead the Fifth." The Sixth Amendment ensures rights for those accused of crimes, including the right to a speedy and public trial, the right to know the charges, call witnesses, and have access to an attorney. The Seventh Amendment guarantees the right to a trial by jury in civil cases. The Eighth Amendment forbids cruel and unusual punishments and excessive bail or fines. The Ninth Amendment clarifies that citizens have other rights not specifically listed in the Constitution. In other words, unenumerated rights. And lastly, the 10th Amendment reserves all powers not given to the federal government to the states or the people, reinforcing the principle of federalism. The Constitution, with its carefully constructed balance of power and its protection of liberty, was a revolutionary document in 1787, and it remains vital today. Through federalism, separation of powers, and checks and balances, the framers created a system that could adapt, endure, and protect freedom. And with the Bill of Rights, they ensured that the voice of the individual would never be silenced by the power of the state. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.